which we're good now. So, all right. So, my name is Minfin. I'm going to be doing an 80% run. This is my submission for, oh, wow, I can't think. Marathons. So, I'm going to have a couple people commentating so that way you know what the commentary is going to be like. And for the most part, I'll be quiet. Otherwise, enjoy the run. Time starts when I accept my name. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. Let's start off by introducing the couch, quote unquote. I'm 7D. I also run this particular category. 8%. I love the Messengers, amazing game. But I'm fairly new to the Bamboo Blaze, as it were. Whereas Minus over here pretty much knows everything. Has been quite a few times before. So.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm Minus. I've been running for a little while now and. Jumped mostly no out of bounds categories. Any percent being easily my favorite. I love this run. Sit back and enjoy just under 2 hours of amazingness.
Yeah, and 80% is hands down my favorite category, which is why I tend to choose it for marathons.
Yeah, there's so many tricks going on in this run, and it's kind of funny. It kind of starts off with a bang. A lot of speed runs kind of. It's sort of, you get more mechanics, and as it goes, it sort of like slows onwards as the difficulty. But this game, right out the gate, is actually pretty difficult with all the T boosts and D boosts going on this first level. So this particular game is quite a masterpiece, particularly this.
Absolutely. Coming through Ninja Village, it's really just here as a really quick tutorial. 1 minute 43 seconds or so of just walking right. So there's you pretty much leave out of here on world record pace about every time.
Yeah, unless you're a mad lad like Grandias and use V-Sync to try to shave off 2 seconds, but that's not me.
Yeah, that's right. And then we come into so Autumn Hills, or Reset Hills as we love to call it from time to time, is the music, the level and the music you will probably hear the most as a runner. Finding yourself, for one reason or another, resetting here, especially in the shorter runs.
Yeah, I don't mind that this track is a banger.
Thank God that it is, because you'll hear it a lot running the game. All the music in it really is.
What am I doing?
So what you see men trying to do every so often is that he's doing these small movements when making contact with a green turtle, one of those green kappas, in order to try to get these minor speed boosts. We call them turtle boosts. And they're kind of an advanced optimization. So essentially, when you attack an enemy or something that takes more than one hit to kill, it actually does a little pushback on you whenever you make that contact until the last hit when it dies. And we use that to actually manipulate that knockback to either push us forward or pull us forward, depending on how you do the movement beforehand.
Yeah, and those movements are pretty precise, since you have to be pretty much turning around for only as a frame or as little as possible, so that you're getting that maximum momentum, which is part of the reason why I say this stage is pretty explosive right at the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this stage is probably one of the hardest ones, even though it's at the beginning, because you're trying to do all this speed tech with very little abilities available to you.
Another, what would you call it? Another habit of ours, maybe even a tradition at this point, is spending this particular moment to shout out the composer of this game, Rainbow Dragon Eyes, for all the music that we get to listen to over and over again as we run the game, but also the amazing sound engineering and how they do things like muffle the sound, the tricks they do with the time that you'll see later, all of that. And we love to mention it there. And there's the spike tower. That's it. Yeah, very well done. There's another version of that where you actually try to just use the blue kappa that's going there to make that clear jump, that's an insane one. But what Minfin showed off is the general spike tower skip, which saves you a little bit of time from not having to go underneath.
One of the many reasons why this is Reset Hills.
Oh yeah, go face first into those spikes, especially if you don't have the health.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
This swing can sometimes be like that, and really get the best of you.
There we go. That's better.
We've all done this screen a couple of times.
Yes, absolutely. And when you get it, that was good. I love that. That's kind of the earliest versions of turtle boosting I had seen, where it's not truly used in the turtle boosting way, but I think it was kind of the starter for it, because it uses the same mechanic and like the same motions, but its use is different. It's not really meant to speed us forward. It's more used to get that cloud step, so that we can make the small hop over the log. For a minor time save, which looks really cool when you get it.
Now, half the time you go for that, you get stuck on the wall and you end up losing so much time. So you get that right, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Spike drop.
Whoa. I felt those spikes.
Showing off his prowess of this amazing game.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about shops real quick. This fight's going to be really quick, so just know that Min's shooting to do a one cycle on this boss right now. Boss champ. But to talk real fast about the shops, so you see us going to shops a couple of times, more so in this any percent run, where we pick up several items either to perform tricks or just to make the run a little bit safer or easier. The two shops that we performed here in Autumn Hills was the first shop where we got the climbing claws to allow us to actually climb up walls, and then we bought the ability to attack enemy projectiles. The second shop picked up two more things to help us later, which is the aerial recovery for when you take a hit, which we use a lot of for like damage boost and stuff like that, and then the shurikens, which helped on that boss to get the one cycle, and then in a bunch of places to hit triggers and stuff from a distance. Hi, Necro.
There's one trick that's really nice here. Lots of cycles. Lots and lots of cycles. And there's actually going to be one trick I'm actually going to skip this time, because it's been failing me lately.
You talking about the butt boost?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. Oh, hi, Ruxton.
Hi, Spooky Staff.
They're good boys.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any better. The staff just talks to him, and he just does what he does.
So the trick that I mentioned involves me being able to take a damage boost here in order to skip a cycle here. But if you miss it by like a frame, you dead. So
yeah, it's a lot of risk versus reward. A lot of people get it down pretty well, so they're willing to go for it often. I bet you he's going to go for the tough spike ball too, which I think is scarier than that.
Oh yeah, come on! I haven't missed that in I don't know how long.
So 7D, we got another kind of trick coming up here in a little bit, where we're going to try to avoid another Ruxton cutscene.
That's my favorite Badonkadonk, and I have probably only attempted this, I've attempted this probably every time, but I think I've only gotten it once. I was in a practice run. I don't think I've ever gotten this live. This trick is rough.
It's very precise. There are a few runners who will pause buffer it. Others just kind of YOLO it. It saves a good amount of time in Catacombs by itself.
Roughly 8 seconds.
And you have one shot at it, really. You can reset, but at that point, you're not really saving the time anymore. But you got one shot to try to essentially cloud step over a loading, little loading box. And actually the next room coming up. So we'll see if Min goes for it. He's going to set it up, reset the room.
Oh, I did that way too early.
Very close. So he'll sit through the cutscene, he'll kill these Wizrobes, and then he'll move on. But what the goal is to drop just low enough where you don't touch the trigger, but you're able to cloud step up and smack that top lantern to get another cloud step, and you can just hop over the trigger and keep going. A little fun fact.
Actually, that cutscene is still there, and since we're doing 80% when we come back to this area, if you do actually get Badonkadonk, which is such a tight jump that, and you come back here and you forget, and that'll actually soft lock you when you come back here, so you have to avoid it when you come back.
What you'll see happen generally, because the cutscene will still happen. Oh, hang on, I can't with you. Every time you do it, it makes my body clench. That is a wonderful way to get through that room, and it scares me every time.
And I love
It is also the fastest time.
That's why I die here all the time.
That is a slightly faster way to get through that room. It puts you inches from death every time you do it, because if you are a frame or two off, that ball will hit you and you will die.
Yep.
Right side spike fall is like driving 90 on the Autobahn. It just feels nice.
So we got Ruxin here. Now the Ruxin fight is one of the kind of RNG-ish parts. It's not major. If he spawned low on that first part of the encounter, which means you're losing 8 seconds right off the bat. If he spawns up high, where he's kind of at right now, and starts the fight like that, you save that time, and that's what we hope for. But it's 50-50. There isn't really a way, as far as we know, to manipulate it, so it's just roll the dice.
And
how does Ruxin feel today?
The tech involved in the boss fight, whereas if you get high Ruxin, you just get damage boosted up there and you just smack him until he's dead. So
pretty much.
The low Ruxin is actually an interesting fight.
That is true. Yeah, you get to see a lot more of the fight, and it's fun. I don't know if you intended for someone to sing the song of our people.
You're more than welcome to.
All right. I like Chinese food. Chinese food is good for you. I like to eat Chinese food, and Chinese food is yummy too. If you like me too, you will bring me Chinese food because it is so yummy. Did I mention I like Chinese food?
Thank you, Rainbow Dragon Knights. You are just a gem in this beautiful world.
You know, the composer providing the community with the exact lyrics for this song, and we love to sing it. Also, if I'm not mistaken, every song in this game can also be sung with the lyrics, which are just the name of his dog.
Yep.
Wait, what?
I'm trying to remember if that was true.
It is. I don't remember where I heard it, but yeah.
I remember hearing that. I'm going to pretend that it's the lore now.
I'm going to honestly believe it. That's amazing.
All
right, Bamboo. So Bamboo Creek, it's our little vacation spot. Nothing too big gets introduced here. It's kind of just a culmination of what we have knocked out and learned so far. This room is kind of one of the big rooms of the stage. Min's going to go for and nails it. There's N2 right there, and then whatever that's called.
Steelheart.
That's a hard one because there's a R2 N2 which was found out more recently that you don't have to go for a one tile at the end there. So going for the original N2 skip, that's a lot of respect. That's not easy.
Yeah.
I just haven't practiced the N2, the R2 N2.
Yeah, that's the one I had started practicing. Shoutouts to Le Remy, our wonderful French speedrunner who helped us with getting a setup for it.
Gotta love jump program. This.
Yeah, I didn't double jump off the third lantern.
I will tell you that room right there is why I speedrun this game. It's when you see it. When you see it perfectly done, it's the smoothness of the cloud steps as you climb up and into that room. It's so perfectly done that it's like, I want to do that more. That feels amazing to do.
Yeah, there's so much going on in that room too.
Yeah. Howling Grotto. After the very difficult bamboo boss fight that we totally did, because there totally is one, we come into Howling Grotto.
What he's alluding to is the shopkeeper actually kind of warns you. He's like, don't worry about what's coming up next at the end of the stage. There's nothing, and the messenger's all worried. He's like, what are you talking about? Are you sure? Are you trolling me? And no, like, you should believe me. And then if you actually talk to the shopkeeper in that section there when he gives you the wingsuit, he's like, see, you should trust me more. Like, I'm trying to help you here. Oh, by the way, here's the wingsuit.
Yeah.
So this stage is pretty fun.
I did that wrong.
And you're still T-boosting and D-boosting through everything.
Yeah, we picked up a few items in the shop too. You had mentioned the wingsuit, which was the required upgrade that they just hand out. But there, we made 2 more purchases.
Yeah, the pogo, which was the most important because he had just enough time cards to get it, as well as the swim boost, which is pretty fun, honestly. One of the particular reasons that I was drawn to any percent was all the yeets everywhere, and the swim boost is one of the many ways we can do the yeets.
Oh yeah, easy every time.
Yeah, you're much more casual at it than me. I typically let that stall get much closer.
Movement, that whole room, and yeah, if you mess up at really anything, if you don't cut a corner, you can't get that. So that's impressive.
Yeah. So now that we're cooling off from that awesome DK skip, let's talk real quick about time shard management. So, especially, of course, new game, right? You're starting with nothing. We have particular times when we're going into shops trying to not do it any more than we need to. We usually go in when we're required and then make some purchases. But especially during this 8-bit portion, the time shards we get is important. We have strats that come up that expect you to have them. So, but the time shards are not just for free, right? There's some RNG to it, but mostly it's just making sure you route and hit all the lanterns that you need to. So Min keeps that in mind at certain stages of levels to know if he's behind or not on his time shards.
Yeah, particularly in the any percent, the shops are always pretty tight. And as a newcomer to this game, usually end up seeing Corbel once or twice a run. So, and it's quite easy to mess up some of your time shard counts. So.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Well, hopefully, in an ideal any percent run, you only see him 3 times because there are 3 intentional deaths.
Oh, I thought you said a deal any percent run. I'm like, wait a second.
No, in an ideal.
Right. The deal being a totally different category.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
There you go. But yeah, you're right. There would be
Throwing out the wall for RNG manipulation, always.
As always. Going for the 2 cycle here. 7. This is their counting boss, right? So it's 7 hits on the core, 1 shuriken while you're on the side to get up to have the max amount of time possible, so that you can get that done in 2 cycles, and then it's 8.
And this second phase here is actually pretty random. If you don't follow him immediately, every direction he goes is completely random. So it's nice to have at least 1 damage, so you can just kind of hold forwards into him and just kind of hit him 7 times.
Of course, the name of the game is speed, right? So it's about killing him really fast, but the optimization we try to do in that second phase is to be as low on the screen as possible when the kill happens. As low as we can possibly be based on how he moves. Because it does actually count the time down. The higher up you are, the longer it takes to get to the bottom, and the longer it takes for the next dialogue to trigger.
Yeah, the optimal kill there to kill him with the shurikens close to the bottom is actually pretty difficult, pretty cool. So this stage is kind of an interesting stage. For the longest time, before T-boosts were really incorporated into the run, it was pretty widely considered the hold right level. It's kind of beautiful. Kind of the culmination of like all the things in the run up to this point. But there's a couple things in particular in this level, at least towards the end of the level. A little long guess, but for the most part, just kind of enjoying the beautiful, well, not really beautiful, it's kind of horrifying scenery.
I wish I could sing like a mushroom. If you actually look in the background or the lanterns, they're all singing at certain points of the song. I wish I had those skills.
Actually, the lore for this particular stage is that any of the previous messengers who died here became these trees and mushrooms and stuff that are singing the music. Kind of creepy.
Oh, that means they're singing in agony. Why? No.
They're stuck and they can't move. They hate it here.
Oh boy. I bet you I still have a command in my chat for the right room, which isn't really relevant anymore.
I do too, but it actually makes fun of the fact that it's not the right room anymore.
Yeah, that was an interesting mechanic if you saw it, because it happens from time to time, which kind of touches a little bit on some finickiness you'll see later, but you actually killed an enemy, and another enemy was coming on screen, and that enemy happened to die. Kind of a screen wrap kill. And so that's you'll actually see...
No.
Oh, I missed that. Small optimization to hit that early with a shuriken, but that's okay. But yeah, that's a...
every time, but we don't always get every time.
That's what I'm really excited to talk about as we get into it, and actually because this is 90%, we'll see it next stage, but some of the mechanics, the strats, that you just don't see in the shorter runs, because you do not need to do them, are incredible, like, make so much faster in an 90% run, and it'll make more sense in a little while.
That wall climb was insanely fast, it threw me up. Like, I didn't even have a damage recovery. I was like, wait, what?
Nice bully room. Getting Sticky Ninja in there is...
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah. So we've got this minor cycle room here, which if you do it perfectly, you can actually skip this saw with the spikes. I can't do that.
I keep trying, and I've never done it once, but...
but that left side jump is kind of the way to learn, because you'll usually get there around that time, and you can anticipate it being on the wall. You just loop around it. All right,
Queenie.
Quills.
And this boss is pretty fun. She's kind of RNG where she's going, but as long as you stick to the right side, you can usually slash if she's on the right, and shuriken if she's on the left. But trying to get up here is not an easy task, because it's pretty... She's jumping pretty high arcs, so it's pretty easy to get hit while you're trying to get these flat steps up here. Oh, and we almost got whipless, but that's... Oh, no!
Well...
Queen of Quills takes one, as she wanted to do. Oh, hi, Corbel.
Our friend
Now,
here.
one thing I will say...
we like I said, it's an 80%. We're gonna see him, but
We're gonna see him plenty. Corbel would typically hang around and take time shards from you as payment for saving, but he's afraid of bosses, so he takes right off. We don't have to worry about that. What we go for here in this fight, and what you can see Minford trying here is to take her out in essentially 2 cycles and skip the whips. The whip cycle you're seeing here. Now he got the whips, but he can kind of manipulate where they hit. And then we'll see here, and there's the end. So that's generally how a normal fight will go. If you miss, or if you drop, or if you miss one of the knockdowns, then hopefully you'll just get that whip phase and then be done with it. You never want to see spores. If you see spores,
No.
You're not happy.
Yeah, seeing spores, there's you can choose to hit by the spore, and it feels real bad and turn to a mushroom. Then you can hit her again, but it still feels real bad. We don't like it.
Let's go, Searing Crags. This level is where this game opens up. Not only are we going to get an amazing upgrade that's really going to change the way we move around the stages, but also it happens to be our splitting point between how 8-bit linear runs are done and how a full 80% is. So Minfin's going to pick up a few health upgrades, one for more health, one for health drops, and get our rope dart.
Yeah, this is the most broken thing in the game, both intended and unintended. This game just explodes really with the rope dart.
It's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, it combined with
that I have a hard time doing. I love that move.
Yeah, every time I go for that, I usually get hit by the spikes there, so that was really nicely done.
Every time I go for it, I embarrass myself.
Hard. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll show off, actually coming up in a couple rooms, the first, kind of what 70 was talking about. It's so powerful that the rope dart actually does a bit of manipulation in the game that wasn't really intended. It's just kind of a side effect of how it works. What we're going to try to do, typically you can't take enemies from one screen to another, but we're going to break the rule. Not this time, though.
No, because the bird follows an arc cycle. And so how it did that was just a little weird. And just because I want to make sure I have the health.
it's kind of difficult for this because most of this section is just trying to you gotta beat the bird there, right? Because like, well, once it gets too close to you, it's
just hanging.
Yeah, he's just ready.
So right here, it's fine. There we
There
go.
you go.
Nice.
Perfect. Now the
So while I'm doing this, we got a cutscene. Explain what leashing is.
So let me talk. So that was leashing. So we had mentioned typically enemies do not go and they get despawned when you leave a room. But what happens when you rope dart an enemy, its state gets locked like that, and it doesn't actually get despawned. But if you get hit while finishing the animation for the rope dart and you don't complete it, that enemy still thinks it's being rope darted constantly. So it's never despawned when you change rooms, and we've used that to essentially, quote-unquote, leash the enemy and bring it with us. And we'll do it a lot with enemies that follow. Birds, wizrobes, bats, those are the popular ones, and we use them to do a lot of sequence breaking. What you just saw then that sequence break was Ninja just kind of floating in the air for no reason for a while. That's because we were actually picking up one of the strength note, one of the musical notes that we'll actually use to get into the final level of the game. You never should get it this early unless you break the game a little bit. And leashing is one of the functions that you won't see in a shorter game because we don't need, only if you need to go into music box will you need to get those notes.
Yeah, the only other time leashing is really seen is if you are a certain crazy person in one of the later levels here that for doing fast things.
Oh yeah, and then out of bounds I think we'll use it too.
Oh yeah.
There's some interesting out of bounds leashes as well. Kolos and Susus. What a bunch of guys. This is probably the big RNG boss, just because there's so many moves between the two of them that they have, and there are slow ones and there are fast ones. You want a quick fight. I think Kolos is already dead now, and
yep.
There's Susus. And a little swag slide.
Yeah, I came about I was a frame lower. If I was a frame higher, I would have actually died at the same time they died.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that at all. But yeah, the moves they choose are randomly decided. So you can lose a little bit of time here, or you can have a great fight. Glacial Peak.
Particular stage is first of all, Shovel Please. This stage's song is such a banger, but
It
more
really
importantly, it's a really, really interesting vertical climb level. It's really, really sick. There's so many things going on in this level.
That's not how that was supposed to go, but it works.
Yeah, it looked good to me. So you see how this 8-bit portion, which makes it such a fun and popular run when it comes to this game, the design of this early linear portion, this 8-bit portion, is so good. You go through a level, you pick up a new upgrade, you learn something, you go to another level, you build on it, and this game constantly is building on itself in this early section. Glacial Peak is where you bring it all together. Right. You picked up Rope Dart and Searing Crags, you learned how to use it, and then they give you this amazing climb. I swear I feel cooler when I come to this level, hear the music, and it's just a fun rush of speed. Right. It's not particularly difficult, it just feels great.
Yeah, this stage is really just as I keep saying, it's the culmination of everything that the game has given to you. Yeah, this really brings it all together.
I almost messed that up, but okay.
And we'll be coming back here a few times. Glacial Peak is
it's a hopping spot, isn't it?
We just want to listen to the song, honestly.
We do. Absolutely. Well, I think 2 more times.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, 3. But one's because I'm returning from somewhere and I just happen to be at the entry point here.
The Cloud Ruins, I guess. So yeah, if you count.
Well, because there's getting to Skylands, coming back from Skylands, and then going up for Cloud Ruins.
Yeah. All right, let's see if you get this. Okay,
Oh,
you
nice.
sure did.
So that is a beautiful Justin port. That was not easy, and the kind of really interesting mechanic in this game. For whatever reason, so when your rope dart connects to something, when it's fully contracted, the game's programmed that Ninja has to slash something. And so if there's an enemy of the same type on screen that with the condition that it wasn't on screen previously when the rope dart started and it was on screen when the rope dart ended, you will teleport to that enemy. And then it comes up quite a few times in this interesting category. So yeah, that nicely done. That one's not easy. And the worst part about that one is those particular ghost enemies are they're tied to I think a particular cycle, like a timer. So if you ever see it, it's RNG. It will always be RNG. It'll never come back in the same spot, so you can never re-attempt that unless you reload the game. So
Yeah.
one is not a fun one to go try to practice.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But the good thing is the first time we see it every run, it will be the same. So you either go for it or you miss it and you move on.
Exactly.
And that one, sometimes when you miss it, you die.
Time is
Tower of Time, Tower of Tears, Tower of Time Loss. It really just depends on how it feels.
Not doing Hail Mary.
Not doing Hail Mary.
That is not. I am not comfortable enough with that to make it marathon safe for myself.
If Glacial Peak is like the culmination of all of our skills, Tower of Time is the final test, right? When it comes to this early 8-bit portion, you've pretty much got a majority of the functionality you're going to have for the rest of the run. And this game wants to know that you're ready for the rest of it. So they give you Tower of Time. It's a brutal stage. It isn't completely so the lasers that you see in there, one of the hardest hitting items or traps in the game, taking 4 health if you happen to touch it. This place is built to kill you. And as such, a lot of people have spent a lot of time getting the time down in this place so that they can not be here for as little as possible. All right. So there's a lot of strats you'll see some folks go through. I think that was a Levy special there, and then that's a room right there. The cycle in that room is tight.
I also stuck to the wall. Like, I was holding down, and it would not jump off the wall. And I don't know why. I would just scoot.
The lucky thing sometimes, that spike specifically actually does 1 damage, the one that's moving up. So if you take the hit and through the iframe still get over, you can avoid the crush, which is generally what can happen because you usually have at least 3 health going in there. All right.
Are you going for this fast?
Now, I noticed that you had 4 health. I guess you opted out.
I do not know French Connection well enough to try it.
Fair enough, yeah. There's a couple of laser skips based on the RNG. We had mentioned earlier about the health pickup upgrade that we get, and even that one we try to incorporate into our run as a speed up. So if you get lucky enough, and actually between a damage boost and that laser room, if you get enough health 5, you can actually just jump through the lasers and laser skip it. If you get 4, you can do something called the French Connection, which will use the spikes to do it. That is much harder, but doable, and faster than just what we typically do, which is the intended way. The Ojos. Which particular version is that? What's that one called?
That's the Ojos de Black.
The Black, okay.
Because he's the one that did that version.
Yeah, I typically go for the Dos Ojos, but that's a really cool one too, and it puts you like right there, sitting in the middle, waiting for the other, waiting for the other eye to come.
Yeah, that strat's really cool, but it puts you at 1 health. So the next room with the 3 wizards shooting at you is a little bit.
So Mint did an interesting thing there, which you'll actually see a little bit more in this run. 70, I don't know if you can walk us through it a little bit, but there's that kind of backward slash that you do to speed up the time waster room.
Oh yeah. So for whatever reason, when Ninja is jumps off of a surface,
Huh?
I don't know if we lost you there for a second.
Oh, whoops! I'm back. TLDR: if Ninja jumps off of a wall and has his sword active, he'll actually turn around for the first frame that he jumps off the wall. So you're able to cut a lot of switches and kind of sequence break that you'll see in a few other places. But that was the first time that we did it.
Perfect.
What about these
There's
iframes?
another thing we haven't actually talked too much about, but another powerful tool for rope darts is that during a lot of the animation frames for the rope dart, you are invincible. We get a lot of iframes, and we use that to punish this boss and bring it down really, really clean, by the way. Bring it down fast and easy. You probably saw it a lot in the Colos and Seuss fight as well, and it will be continually used for other fights, especially the final boss. All right. And now it's time. If this were an 8-bit run, we'd be done. We'd be walking away saying, GG's, 8-bit, good. But this is an 8% run. So we're going to continue on by picking up a really cool hat and heading to Cloud Ruins.
Yeah, now we have 8 whole more bits of sound and graphics.
Things are got to be very Genesee.
Yeah, this would be, we're still on the linear portion of the run. These last 2 levels of the linear category are really spicy. There's a lot of really cool movement tech in Cloud Ruins. This is what I like to call kick boost the level. There's so many kick boosts in this level. It's insane. But yeah, there's a lot of really interesting uses for rope dart, and there's a lot of bouncing in this level. So yeah, speaking of which, this is again another banger.
Oh yes, in fact, the original Shovel Please, at least from the Messenger's perspective, a lot of Shovel Knight speedrunners, I think, were big when the game was first being run. A lot of them came over to help route it, and I think this is like the original Shovel Please for them. They loved the song. This is a great song. I love the song. I'm going to be honest with you.
That it's probably my favorite track, considering the 8-bit, because you listen to this, and in the linear category, you only get to hear this particular version. But the 8-bit is just so good.
Dude, the 8
is easily my favorite of the 2 versions. And I'm going to be honest with you, the 16-bit, I love the music. I do not like the level. And it's because I'm bad at it. That is the only reason. There's nothing, it's designed beautifully. It looks amazing. I'm bad at it. It's too many pits that I seem to die in so much. And Manfred's mad at us right now. Say hi to Manfred, our wonderful Sky Serpent, who's a little too red right now.
But he's upset right now.
He's a little mad. Yeah, a little mad. But yeah, there's a couple of spots that are just tough.
Yeah, I feel you.
But when we come back in 8-bit, I love it.
You know, it's interesting. This particular stage has really nice stage design. They added quote unquote auto scrollers. That's essentially an auto scroller section, right? But if you incorporated rope darts and kick boosts fast enough, you can actually beat those particular sections and complete them on screen, which is not easy. But it's nice that in these particular auto scrollers, you can still go fast. This game just so crazy.
Yeah, really, it's just the Skylands scroller you're stuck on. The rest we have a little bit of control over, so that's awesome. This room is why I don't like this level. There are some of those movements that are very tight, and there are some of those platforms that are not forgiving. And if you face through one, if you are at just the right angle, you are dead. You're just going to float slowly into the bottomless pit.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
This is super scary. And he decided to do it like, normally where you've got to dip and dive underneath all of those, obstacles. I normally opt to go for the Justin port, so either I get it or I fall in the pit.
Oh, I was going to, and then I stuck to the wall, so that messes up the teleport because you gotta have it lined up just right. I had it, and then I stuck to the wall, so I wasn't gonna get the line up for the ghost. Mm-hmm. So that's what sucks.
Yeah, and as you get more better and better at the game, you can actually see too. Going for teleports isn't always technically free, and missing them can actually lose you a bit of time because of the animation that happens. So if you pull off the teleport move, but the teleport doesn't happen, you're going to do that kind of long throw, that long swing, where you can't really do much else, and you'll sit there not moving. So you didn't get the time save
Aw.
from the teleport, but you do lose some of the frames from the animation.
The worst actually that can happen is that's happened to me in that room many times, is where you get like 1 frame too. I don't know if it's late or early, and you kill the enemy with the just import, but you don't teleport to it. So there's nothing for you to cloud step off of. So
Yeah,
it's a sitting duck.
that's a shame too. Not even just straight up missing it, but also there are particular frames where if you hit it on, it actually doesn't teleport you. The enemy just dies as they're coming on screen, and you don't finish the animation. Oh, you're gonna kill our red cap. That's how you feel.
Oh my god, he's the strongest red cap. Come on, he's in the.
That's how you feel today.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. He was probably gonna plummet to his death anyway. I mean, he quote unquote.
Speaking of being off screen.
That guy apparently.
Oh god.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was a little monkey ass right there.
Yeah,
All right.
That particular section is pretty hard to do off screen, but yeah.
All right, Ballfred?
Ooh, yeah. This
I
is
hope.
not an easy thing to set up, but you kind of just want to be in his face right when he starts to move.
Nope.
That was pretty close.
Might get another chance later, but now we're gonna do the real Manfred fight, which is juggling.
I can.
Trying to keep Manfred on screen for.
Okay. I must have hit him on top of his head.
Yeah, there are certain cases where you actually are attacking at a bit of a cadence. If you do it too fast, he will just shoot forward. And while it may seem hard to judge, you can actually tell which direction he's going to go based on how high he is on the screen. So you can use that to understand, like, okay, should I jump next, or how should I do this?
It's interesting. You would want to try to incorporate like some rope dart hits here and there when you're trying to juggle Manfred. But yeah, you really just want to hit that particular rhythm. Otherwise, it's going to go very not in your favor. I'm doing over.
I like those shuriken strats right there.
I'm trying to go for.
Oh no!
That's why I go for that, because I hate trying to fly to Manfred.
The shuriken part is new. I normally don't do that. I usually just do the fireballs. That's the first time I haven't been able to actually climb up high enough to hit him on the fireballs.
Yeah. Manfred will try to meet your height. Or we can try Ballfred again. So close. So close. It's very precise. The position you have to be on the screen when Manfred's making the decision of where to go, because he decides based on your position. If you're just right, Manfred will get stuck in a loop, and you'll stay in that ball probably forever. And
much better juggle.
But usually he'll just stay in there.
Much better juggle.
As long as you don't stop rope darting, he'll stay in that state, and it's crazy the amount of time it saves. But it's not easy to.
The only thing worse than that is getting the spin ball, getting the Ballfred, and then falling. So now you're sitting on the clouds, watching him spin in the air, and he's too high to reach. It's the worst. You can pause the game to break it, and he'll get out and you do the fight regularly, but it's the worst pause you ever make.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, I used to think it was a soft lock, and then
my console is a standpoint.
Yeah, I thought it was a soft lock, and you walk away, but no, if you pause the game, he will break out of it.
For this not particular.
That was the last hit too. I love it. Very good.
Okay, when that happens.
I'm so frustrated. That's okay.
That boss right there is I think, in my opinion, is the reason why 8-bit is the popular run.
Yes.
Honestly, though, like this is the final boss of the game. I always joke about that when I'm playing my linear category, which is the end is this right after this particular level. But you know what? You fight the demon general. You know, you fight quote unquote Satan. Oh god, no! Manfred is the final boss of those 2 stages.
Really is easily the most difficult boss, especially to do fast.
Yeah.
Fun level. Since we don't have any way to walk on lava. Not that this particular lava you'd be able to walk on, but
yeah.
We're kind of scared in this level. There's a lot that can kill you, but when done fast, this is a really, really fun stage.
Well, all things considered, Underworld. Oh my! That blue.
How did I get sniped by that?
The hero. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Underworld. Once you get through 16-bit Cloud Ruins, as I'm usually very stressed afterwards, Underworld's kind of a nice treat to end off the linear portion. It's typically kind of short as far as these splits go. Both times you come here in any percent. So there's that, and it's just kind of a nice send-off.
Yeah, that's true. It's this particular level is just really it's got a lot going on, but as long as you're rope darting the next target, you'll be fine. Oh, that's opted to crouch there. Yeah, that's...
Well, I didn't have the health to damage boost. Safety save, because...
There you go.
I touch that thing every time.
Oh, okay. These blue cappers are sniping today.
These last couple of screens can be pretty hard. Alright, now we have a fun vertical one.
Did you know that lava at the bottom, that fast-flowing Fanta, actually does rise in this room? I say it like that. Once you've run this game for so long, you actually forget that this is actually supposed to be kind of a fast and scary room. But yeah, that Fanta rises. But we like to refer to like the fast, unworkable lava. There is the Fanta, and then the more still one, the one that you can walk across later. That's the sick one.
Opting to go for a way less wingsuit pumps than I normally do. Those last couple of rooms there scare me so bad.
Well, I've also got the timing on it down.
We give him some serious time for this boss fight. See if we get the first one.
That was a clean corner.
Nice corner, dude. Okay. We have to keep it. Nice. Good job.
And then he's locked. Very good.
Nice job.
And he's gonna stay there.
Ooh, kill him with the spin.
Yep, love that.
That particular boss fight is kind of annoying, but as long as you hit him with the right amount of damage, he's always going to do a particular attack, and then Minfin did a really nice job of getting him stuck in the corner there.
I remember this boss fight being particularly hard casually, but fairly scripted in the speedrun. Because you fully manipulate where he goes based on your positioning, so you can essentially... The only RNG part is the lanterns, so the things that are actually popping up in the room, it's RNG which ones pop up, so when you see the first ones pop up, you have to make split decisions of where you're going to put them, when are you going to move. The goal is to get in that corner and get him stuck up there. If you're full health when you get up there, you're pretty safe. Anything less than full health, you're going to have to drop early or he will kill you up there.
Yep, because he will hit you 5 times in that corner.
There is a particular way that you can use your rope dart invincibility to when he goes for an attack, but that's not easy. I probably only that's like 2 or 3 times, like
Stealing soldier shot.
Attacks, you know?
Yeah, I try not to count on those iframes working out for me.
Yep. Now, during this cutscene, whenever we have the actual marathon, if I get in, this would be the point where... Because we got pretty much a solid 2 minutes for donations and stuff, so that's where this would happen.
Yeah.
Because it's the longest cutscene in the game!
It's a bunch of lore. So, yeah.
Like how we kill off the future messenger because we forget about sending out Corbel.
One of my favorite parts of the run, the where you be literally the worst shopkeeper ever. Yeah, here you go. This is the stuff that you need to, do the thing. And by the way, I'm supposed to revive you when you die, and
and he does say that too. So Ninja, who's taking on the role right now, actually does say, "Do I look like a shopkeeper to you?" I think it's an upgrade for like a charge shot or something.
Yeah, it's a charge beam. Yep.
So good.
And they make a reference to Metroid. This dialogue is just, it's good. Like, if you've never played The Messenger casually, it's a shame that you don't get to see all this text because it's a treat.
Well, I've also got it in simplified Chinese, so
one of I believe it's the prophet comes and tells you, "Oh yeah, they're dead. I'm gonna go get the scroll now. Yeah, you should get out the shop. You're probably the worst shopkeeper probably in the history of ever. Put on your clothes, please."
So we walk on over, change back, and we head on out. So we've got just a little bit more of cutscene. The prophet's gonna kind of explain a little bit about what's going on. and then he's going to open up some portals, and then that is when the any percent really takes off, because now we're done with the linear portion. This game has now turned into a Metroidvania.
Yep.
And it's nice too because whereas in a lot of other Metroidvanias, you're going back to the same area and you now have like new abilities to take you there. Whereas this is it's the past versus the future. So these areas actually that you're going back to are still actually going to be different, even though you've been there before. So these next couple of levels are actually pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Spooky stuff chilling out.
The route changed so much. You're gonna make the check now, okay?
Yep.
I've seen the route change so much over the last couple of years, and in fact, I don't even think my from the last time I ran that I was running this way. I'm probably gonna change it next time.
Yeah, because even though this takes advantage of a skip that comes up later, it is a hard skip to do, but it still enables like damage boost later because of an ability that you have.
Yeah, with this particular route, we opt to get the damage reduction early. So yeah, we can go for a lot of damage boost early with some spikes.
It might help if I don't mess this up.
So this is
Oops.
This is very easy to mess up. I can't tell you the amount of times I've.
This was the original leash for this to get into the early Skylands. The Wizrobe leash is tough. He's essentially trying to position himself just right that when the Wizrobe throws the balls, you'll rope dart the Wizrobe, but get hurt by the ball and the leash begins.
And the caveat is that because the rope dart will actually see what just happened there, will go through the orb. You want to position yourself so that the rope dart isn't going to touch the orb, but you still get hit by it. So this was particularly difficult.
Why? I'm holding the other way. Why am I rope darting that way? No, seriously, like... I'm rope darting the lantern I shouldn't be.
Yeah. So, we're... Oh, there you go. Good job. So as long... And this is a much longer leash. We're pulling that enemy for a while. Something to note about how leashes work. First off, Wizrobes will spawn in a random location within the bounds of the camera. So that's how this is happening. The good thing about leashes is that they persist through death.
I just have to go get them again.
They persist through death. They persist through the enemy dying, as long as you don't reuse the rope dart and have it make contact somewhere. Right? So as long as you don't use the rope dart again and it makes contact somewhere else and breaking the leash, you can keep trying this over and over again. So you don't have to re-get that leash. But now...
I never do that. I always kept redoing the leash.
Yep. So now it's about making this long trek all the way to the place we need to go. And hope that Wizrobe...
Does he?
It is not in just a horrible, horrible spot.
Yes,
Wizrobe
throw you with his positioning. That's the worst part about this going back, is that normally you have the rope dart for all of these sections, and sometimes Wizrobe will just get in your way and
like that.
Be the only thing that you have to hit in order to...
Wait, why are his projectiles moving so slow?
That's really cool how slow that's moving. I've never seen that. Wizrobe RNG gives me kidney stones. I swear.
I feel that. Yeah, I've died a lot in this particular, or just killed Wizrobe on accident in this room.
Yeah, that's what makes this. Oh my God, Wizrobe! I just want you to not be. Just don't be you.
He's fine where he's at.
This particularly is just so difficult. So much RNG involved, and so many rooms you're going where you can't RDE. Right? You can't rope dart everything.
Yeah, that's what I was actually about to say, was that it really makes you appreciate just the difficulty, like, before...
And then he's a nice guy right there.
You just use it on everything.
And that is exactly why we needed it, for just that jump right there. It's not generally possible to make that jump, and you typically have to come back here after a series of events to get those lanterns unfrozen so you can get across. There's actually another leash that I've done with the bird right below this screen, and that's an alternate leash that you can do. And there's even a newer strat where you can pull off kind of a double lantern jump to get the height to get a cloud step off of the ice up there, and that is the newer strat. I still haven't learned it.
It's one of those things where it's just a pain.
Buffer strat, and yeah, I think it's like a frame perfect like jump and double jump while hitting a lantern, and it's rough.
Yeah, I'll have to go and look into it
I think it was rough.
So now we're at the I can't call it a bullet hell, probably more of just our auto scroller here at Elemental Skylands. We've got 4 elements: air, earth, water, fire. That we are going to go through each Skylands, and we basically are shutting off generators and looking for the Clockwork Concierge. So, and then in between each one is that kind of auto-scroller section where there really isn't much to do. But a big reason why we're here, as they were mentioning earlier, is that those auto-scroller sections actually get us a lot of time shards. And so we utilize that time to make the money for the upgrades that we want.
This particular level is pretty interesting just because, for the most part, there's like a theme to every level. But the Elemental Skylands, because it changes between, Earth, fire, wind, and water, it's kind of interesting. Each portion is very different. And as you stated, each in-between section, all the auto-scrollers, you're just making bank.
Yep.
So you can purchase that damage reduction.
How much do you like mashing, Minton?
When it's potatoes, a lot. When it's buttons, kind of.
So with this particular game's mashing, there really isn't a buffer for the fireball shoots. Those things will come out about as fast as you can push that button. They don't really buffer or wait. So that if you're a big masher, this section could be a lot of fun for you because mashing in these sections don't really matter, but a boss will save time. So
that is true. Yeah. I also believe that this works just like Star Fox, I believe, is one of the other games that does this, where when you press the button and when you release the button, it makes a shot.
Yep.
I do believe there also is a Hertz cap where if you mash too fast, it won't actually come out. So there's actually a pretty, I wouldn't call it slow. It's definitely, fast, but you could mash relatively slow compared to what you would think you would have to mash to go.
Yeah, that kind of magical cadence that you can find. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's nice you don't have to just break your thumb when you're trying to kill the Clockwork Concierge.
Yeah, that's what I do. I do the thing where I do my mashing based off of press and release in a certain pattern, and it makes it so much easier for me, and it's coming out almost as fast as just straight mashing. And I messed that up. I don't know how I managed to come out so sloppy on that client.
And yet you still got it. So something that's kind of undertoned right now, Earth Skyland being one of the pinnacle Skylands because of the major skip we do there with damage boost. You may have seen it. It happened so fast, but Min actually jumped up onto a spike wall and damage boosted through it in order to skip like half of the stage.
Yeah, you have to change the time, and there's a whole puzzle you have to do, and we don't like that. We just go over it.
I forgot about that, to be honest.
Yeah, shoutouts to but just do the puzzle.
Yes.
Just do the. That'll be a good reference for later. There's still so many good. I'm just thinking about what's still left in the run, and there's so many good spots to talk about. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's why I like 8%. It's just an explosive. There's literally never downtime in this run. With 8-bit and linear, you're kind of ramping up towards the end. But in this run, there's so many crazy strats and so many things. In particular, for me at least, smoke is here everywhere. This run is hard everywhere.
Now we're in the Water Skyland, which Min has expressed to me on several occasions is his favorite.
Because I get to do this. Whee!
For that right there, for a little, for some water use.
Do another one right here.
7D was mentioning this earlier with the use of the fast swim. You can come out of the water, maintain that velocity. Unlike 8-bit and linear runs, any percent actually gets to use that upgrade quite a lot.
Yeah, the only way to get that particular speed is either rope darting off of a hook or going through water and using the swim boost there. And those particular yeets are really cool. There's a couple of them coming up that go pretty darn far.
Yeah.
So
my favorite's coming up in a couple levels.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about too. And that's what my mind was on. For even other strats too. So buckle up. All right. So we're coming up on the final Skyland right now. Something to note about these auto scrollers, there, as you probably imagine, isn't a lot to think about or do in them. But specifically, the water to fire auto scroller section, there actually is a rhythm to some of like the last like groupers here that we do to get all those time shards. And on the third one, you'll actually get a double. And if you anticipate that, you can ensure you're placed just right to kill all of them and get maximum time shards. So no real time saves, more of just trying to maximize the time shards that we get, and that was perfect.
And
that particular section, just because, as you noticed, when you kill that particular enemy, that gives you a lot of time shards comparatively to
6,
where they'll only give you 1. So yeah, hit those properly is the vast majority of the time shards that we get here. And you're already above. I think what is it? 1350? I think is what.
1320 is what you need for the 7th health point and the Kusari jacket.
Thank you. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Any more you get is still good because we're not done shopping even after that. I think after that it's, what is it, another 1,000?
I think that's right.
And that'll pick up the last 3 upgrades we want to get. As this run gets shorter and shorter and people find better routes and tech, our time shard management actually gets that much more difficult to handle. Because some of the upgrades we get at the very end, the expensive ones, just they help out so much, but at some point they're not going to be worth the time. So I'm interested when that becomes a thing. Alright, Fire Skyland, no problem. In this particular route, you don't really have something to deal with the lava just yet, so it's a little scary, but totally doable.
Yeah.
And now is positioning and getting ready for the Clockwork Concierge. Rip to your thumbs, question mark?
I can't imagine trying to do that, the Lava Skyland without any upgrades.
We're doing a bunch of damage on the head, kind of skipped a whole section there. And
technically, I skipped phase 1 before the fight even started on the timer.
Very good. And so the first phase is usually just like that. After that, it's phase 2. He's throwing out a bunch of projectiles, all this stuff. You can, funny enough, actually position near the head like that and miss most of them. And then it's back to taking out the cannons.
And the other awesome part about like damage boosting in this fight, just to make sure you get in position, is you don't lose time from getting knocked back or anything like that, because you don't have to worry about it being on Manfred.
And the nice thing about the beginning of this section, every time you break his inner armor, is that it's always going to be the same. So you always know what's going to happen. So you just get to go right by his head and then do the same thing.
Rinse and repeat 2 times for a total of 3 phases. Fight's done. We come here, we get the symbiosis note from our good buddy, who is now like snapped out of his madness now that we've knocked some Manfredsons into him.
And now Manfred wants to become a butler.
Manfred's always wanted to be a butler, and he is honored to meet his hero, the Clockwork Concierge. And once our journeys and everything is complete, he plans to come back and learn the ways.
He's an apprentice butler to the Clockwork Concierge. He lives up to be able to don the hat.
He's so happy. So now if you watch closely left side of the screen, when Ninja's coming in, you'll see he's facing the wrong direction. That's funny. And I think that's your second note?
Yes.
I think that's your second note, and you need 6.
You need a total of 6, yes.
So it means 4 more to go. Really, the goal is how fast can you go and get all those notes, right? That's kind of the gatekeeper right now for beginning percent run. Right, we need to find all 6 notes so we can get in the music box so we can finish the game. The descent in Glacial is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, you just fall.
Fast. You just fall. Yeah, and you just pick certain spots that are faster than others. There's Colos and Susis. They were waiting for their food to be done. They had a plant that they planted. Because we actually did the kind of like Crag's leash earlier, we don't need to save them because they don't need to send us over to pick up the note anymore. All right, now that we've done that, I believe it's the Hope note next.
Yep.
Yep. This is one of those.
This is called Stupid Tree.
Yep. It's if we haven't talked about it too much, one tiles is how they've been referred, or otherwise. These kind of one tiles are pretty precise tricks where you're actually getting slight connection to a small bit of wall, and just like a single tile of wall, and you're actually performing a kind of like kick jump off.
Wait, let's try that again.
And try it over. First try. Here we go.
The reattempt.
Oh, I didn't glide. Boo.
I've never gotten this past this screen.
I've
actually landed
that 7D was talking about, right? Some of them can be a lot longer and save a bit of time the longer you can actually stay in the air. But even still, it's faster in any way than just going underneath. So kind of like a reverse spike tower. And then we're just coming back through. You get to hear some of that amazing Autumn Hills music from a 16-bit perspective.
And then we get to our final boss, which is
final boss.
This stupid tree.
Oh, I got the one tile.
That's awesome. It's a lot of positioning. It's a lot of how you come into the jump so that you can be at the exact spot at the right animation frame to be able to do that kick flip. You kind of just feel it.
I haven't gotten the one tile in a long time. I usually try the one tile one time to set up a backup that another runner, the Big K1, does, which is super consistent.
Yeah, I like it because his will completely avoid the one tile, but it requires that yellow bug. So I tripped it the first time.
I missed the thing. I wanted to go like slingshotting around.
Oh, so now we're making our next shop here, picking up as many upgrades as you can. He was able to get an extra one with the money. I think looked like.
No, that's the two that you want.
Okay, so he picked up a shuriken upgrade, the next health upgrade, and the damage reduction, and that was the biggest one.
No,
it's going to open up a lot of damage boosts coming forward.
I didn't get the shuriken upgrade. I just got the damage reduction and the extra health. The shuriken upgrade turned red.
Oh, did it? I was trying to remember what that bottom right one was.
Yeah, that was the shuriken upgrade to give you an extra shuriken, or no, the collect shurikens from.
That's it.
Things when they die.
That's right.
I don't get that one yet.
Drops. There we go. And then you'll get the extra shuriken and the checkpoint one on your final shop. Right?
No.
Extra shurikens upgrade and then the checkpoint.
So it's that shop is the extra health and the Kusari jacket for the damage reduction. The next shop will be for reverse DK skip, no damage. The next shop will be for the 2 shuriken upgrades for extra shuriken and shurikens on drop. And then the final one is the checkpoint upgrade.
There we go. So coming back through Grotto, the reason why we are here is because we're trying to get the Sunken Shrine, and the underwater maze is right here. And the little teleport there. That's a really interesting one because of how the enemy's coming on, but you're actually not making contact.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're not making contact. It's actually doing kind of a vertical teleport. It's a really interesting one.
That Mivin's doing is pretty much like the Lost Woods section, except this is underwater. Normally you'd come through here, and there's like an item that you have to go that you could go get where there's like music playing and it's like lit up where you're supposed to go, but that's okay, we know where it is. So so we're on our way to the Sunken Shrine.
Really nice of them.
And this particular level is kind of crazy. There's a kind of an interesting strat called. I'm not sure if you go for the wet afros in this stage. There's a lot of crazy skips, or not really skips.
Yeah,
but,
there's been a lot of like minor optimizations in here. Like you can actually do this trick where you can swim underneath that portal and avoid the cutscene. But if you don't get a first, second try, you kind of lose the time you saved.
Yeah, that's being able to swim in one tile of water. There's a lot of crazy things you can do with that.
Yeah, so minor optimizations, opting for damage boosts instead of time changes. There was a recent, that recent finding of kind of those double lantern boosts. There actually is a trick and a major reason why the route is the way it is now. In order to do a damage boost to backdoor the tabbies, which is insane. And I haven't even practiced it yet. I know that Min hasn't either. Yeah,
and I respect you guys going for better times than I do. That's why I have like a 3-hour time. But
first try PP skip. Hello.
That is not how you do that room normally. Normally you have to change the time and go through the bottom right, and there's like a whole extra 2 rooms you have to go through. But that was not an easy jump there.
I'm gonna miss doing that trick. Oh, when I finally sit down and learn the new route, I'm gonna miss doing that trick.
Yeah, PP skip is pretty cool.
And there's our tabbies.
So yeah, doing backdoor is actually kind of cool because you have to do a particular precise set of jumps just to get up there, and then you have to have the right movement. Otherwise, you just die to those spikes up there before you get backdoor, or before you get into tabby.
Shout out to Casa for this trick.
Hey.
I touched ground briefly.
You still got the start there.
Casa, we love you.
Nicely done.
Yeah, fun little damage boost to be able to get in there and do like a little mini eat. Save a little bit of time, especially with the damage reduction and all the health that Infant had. It was very safe to go for. So we're now that we have our tabbies, the game is having us go through these 2 separate paths of puzzles and traps and whatnot in order to pick up these two like crests that we can use to open the door in the main area and get our 4th note, the note of love. So, oh, here's a yeet right here, little one.
One of my favorites. Oh baby.
He's setting up, and there he goes.
Nice.
So fun. Drop in the next room. It feels like those are the kind of like setups, and you see it, and you're like, oh, that's why. That's why I love
yeah, it's just so fun to do those. And there's even more coming up. Don't worry. That was not the last.
Oh. Getting up optimally in here with all the cycles can be challenging, especially with all those. I forget what we refer to them as, but the walls you can't rope dart or crawl on. Those can really throw you off.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that much trouble.
Also, those trident throwers are snipers.
They're more precise than the blue kappas.
Yeah, they are snipers. They are more precise than the blue kappas, I swear.
Because it's a freaking trident, it's not a ball, you know?
I can't. Yeah. Alright, so we did the moon side. We're going to come over to the sun side. Of the two, I think I prefer this side.
I agree with that as well.
Still fast enough to beat the cycle.
I'll say this, though, except in a no upgrades run. This section, right here.
Oh, man, I can't imagine. Oh, man.
I have done it, and it sucks.
I'm so sorry.
Don't pick up any upgrades, right? So it's not even just that you don't have the speed boost, which is the biggest part, because that's the point. This game kind of thinks that you will.
No second wind there either.
No second wind, and only the base health numbers, right? So you only really get one mess up if you have full health. So
fun fact: you don't need second wind to recover in water.
Yeah, you won't need the recovery in water, so you can still recover and get through, but there's 2 long sections of it. So you mess up on the first one, you gotta be perfect on your movement in the second one or you're dead. So we're coming through. Min, of course, rocking it. Coming through here, kind of last sections.
Hello?
This room and a climb, we're good to go. A little small setup right there to just breeze right through the spikes, and we are done. And we got the sun crest.
Who's ready to watch the longest door opening sequence ever?
Yeah, another fine time for donations and the like. There's a long cutscene. We're waiting for a note to come out. All that stuff. I really love the aesthetic of this stage, and also how much it speaks to the major lore that Sabotage Studios sets up for their games, and makes me want to play Sea of Stars.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait.
That game, the demo for it.
Yes,
it's so good.
So good. The music, all of it.
That's gonna be such a good game.
Oh, also, this room this is the very first bit of proof that Ninja does in fact have a back.
Yep.
Yeah, the first and only time you'll ever see this camera angle.
You will also see it. You will also see this animation frame in Picnic Panic. Some of the door entries that he does, and he does it in both times.
Yeah.
So you can actually confirm an 8-bit back as well.
I haven't played Picnic Panic that much. I forgot about the door changes.
Yeah. So come right through here.
And never come back to this place again.
That's right. We full cleared it. Got everything out of here. There's no reason to be back.
Unless you're doing 100%. Even then, you get it all in one shot.
Yeah. You typically try to when you go to these one-off areas. And generally at this point, you should be able to. There's really nothing left at this point to pick up that unlocks things. We have all of the required items for the game. Except for the progression stuff, the notes, right? Is what we're looking for. Great teleport coming back.
Which, if you do that teleport too late, you can actually get a teleport straight through to 16-bit. You don't even hit the teleport trigger or the time change trigger.
That's right. I actually don't like when that happens in this section.
Oh yeah, because then you have to go reset it because you want it to be.
You still want it to be 8-bit when you leave. So you either have to go underneath and change the time back. Or you have to go a little bit further into Bamboo to flip the time real fast.
Yeah, because you got to go past where we're going next in order to change the time under the checkpoint. And it's just slow. Ooh.
And
reverse hay skip.
I'll count it.
That they don't show you, but nice on top.
I'll count it. Reverse hay skip.
And now we're about to go collect our second of the 4 Phobicans that are going to fix.
Well, apparently I can't eat there.
The Forlorn Temple, which is the final boss area of the game. So we're gliding over to our good friend Bamboo Boy.
Forlorn Bamboo Boy. Claustro. So we're gonna do a small clip there that. According to the rules, out of bounds, the rules, as we as a community have agreed on, is that we're avoiding clipping into static boundaries. So a lot of these walls here that you see, things that don't really change, so these static boundaries you shouldn't be going into. There are exceptions for so non-static things. So moving crushers, you can actually accidentally clip into them based on the angle you come in on. And we don't disqualify for that. And those boxes. So the fact that those boxes will eventually disappear anyway does not qualify it for out of bounds. And even if it did, there is still a way to do that back door without clipping into it, essentially. And you have to break it either way. So you saw that Min broke it to get out of the box, but even if you can actually jump through, but you'll have to break it to get back out. So.
No.
Something that I was just about to mention is that there's a particular way you can do that room where you use it to get out. And it ends up being faster that way. Yeah, that just goes to show you how many different crazy strats there are.
Yeah, it's another nice thing where in any percent run, and I mean mostly just any runs in this game, there are many ways to skin a cat. If you'll pardon the expression.
Yeah,
so there's while it can and is optimized in some parts, it's also, depending on what we're talking about, a little freeing, where you can kind of tackle the same thing in a whatever way you feel personally that you'd like to do.
Yeah, true. Particularly these next couple of stages, you'll really kind of see the difference in, like, no runner's going to do these particular stages the same. Really, any stage. Like, particularly jump program in Bamboo. I feel like every runner just has, like, a different cadence for their jump, and just how they learn to play the game.
I was trying to get
Went for the
That's
wet afro.
Yeah, that's another.
Kind of difficult to pull off.
That's another trick I need to practice more. I like that one.
Really neat. And you're able to do the swim boost in one tile of water.
That's gotta be one of the things I was just thinking about with Bamboo as we're coming out of it. That I mean, you don't really see. I think unless you go 100%, we're not going to see Bamboo in 16-bit.
Nope.
Yeah, that's true.
However, we will see Catacombs in 16-bit as we are kind of doing a little bit of pickups on our way to our next destination. One, because it's convenient, but two, because it's faster. But we're picking up Ruxin's amulet.
And he's really excited, and he's happy that he met you. He changed his ways. Now please take my amulet. The spooky staff is waiting for you at the top of the way.
Yep. And then we're heading to one of my favorite splits. Oh, I love Dark Cave. I love it so much. It's a lot of fun
to do, and it's so hard. It just feels so rewarding to pull it off.
Yeah, the great thing, and you're going to see it, it's a completely dark cave with a few visual cues from like the foreground, and we're going to go through it completely blind. You would typically go and do several steps of fetch questing to get the... You win! I cannot believe you.
I have been practicing that.
That was so good. Being able to, because when you get a certain distance from that spike thing, it's going to move, and if you generally can't skip it, so you have to wait for it to pass and then go through. But with that setup, you can actually do a yeet across the whole room and through various minor movements to keep your speed up. You can make that cycle, and it's so cool.
You saw Minfin there was doing the movement for the Badonkadonk re-entry to this area, just because, I mean, we didn't get it on this particular run, but he's such a good runner that the movement that he uses when he comes back through here is the Badonkadonk re-entry.
Alright, so a little bit of quiet here. While there's no actual audio cues, I find out that there's certain areas where I've got to pay attention.
The time shards, audio cues, and the clicks actually help a lot in some parts of this.
Thank God there's a glider there, otherwise these two rooms would be so awful. Hold left you in.
Yep, that's a very good first room.
Alright, so we're good now.
All right.
I've got all my audio cues done.
Alright, so that first room, definitely, well, the first real room, not including the entrance room, is the hardest. And as you probably saw there, even in this kind of area, depending on the runner's preference, they will do that room differently. But the room is always the same, and if you know where everything is, you can get through it without having to go pick up the true sight. So that's what we do, and runners doing any percent will learn that room and spend a lot of time just getting a feel for it. So really well done. I love that segment, and it feels so good when you get it just like Captain Infinite done it. You know, no deaths, just no misses really, just smooth. I think, yeah, some spikes here and there. It's really fun to go through.
That section is because it's blind. You don't get to see all the thousands of ways to die, all the different spikes here and there, and hits, and so yeah, it feels really nice to do that section clean. So this is not easy to do here,
and I screwed it up, so
that's okay.
We're gonna do it the actual way.
You were gonna damage boost through?
There is hard, and I don't think I've ever done that right. I respect that you attempted it.
Yes, absolutely. Rivière Turquoise is a really cool level. I love the aesthetic. one of those levels of kind of huge differences between the past and the future, 8 and 16 bits. That's that flowy green water down there, also not tabbyable, so don't try it. There's some really cool rooms here and some good yeets and a couple of tough rooms and then a pretty fun boss. So it's not one of my favorites because of rooms like this one.
You just don't like pitfalls.
It's so easy for this room to mess you up.
Yeah, there are 1,000 ways to die in here. I think my theme is generally long, like death pit rooms. I don't think I like, with probably some exceptions, but he's gonna kill the bird.
Gliding and praying there. That's okay. This is our friend Big Bird. He's a homie. He's gonna help us do some things and go real fast.
Yep.
So that's okay. We're gonna come back.
And grab that bird. You do like to try to just keep them alive, but sometimes it's easier just to get rid of them and reset them. So we can do this. All right, let's see. How far?
Got it.
Nice. Oh, no!
I killed him too early.
That's so good.
Really well done.
You did all the way to this far room. Beautiful and fast. I love it when both those things are true.
That was really, really well done. And this room is so crazy. Minfin's opting for the strats that I would definitely do the same. The people that go for the damage, the damage boost through this spike section are crazy.
And I'll tell you that with the new route and getting the damage reduction when we do, actually makes that stuff a lot less scary, depending on how much health you have when you come in, which is kind of a nice touch.
Thank you for getting around that wall, please.
Oh, that round.
So it's interesting that they made all these puzzles that you have to use all these the flowers to go through, but they didn't realize half of them you could just kind of hit the flower and keep going and not actually shoot yourself through the cannon. But
shoutouts to Poopa. Just do the puzzle.
Yeah, 'cause you have to on this one.
Yeah, this is not one that has a skip, so just do the puzzle, which is really easy. Just hit the bottom flowers once, and then go back and jump in. Just so they can make it across that pit there. But all the rest of them, yeah, there's these really cool setups to bounce and get through. You don't have to do any of them. Just cloud step.
So here I'm assuming we're going to go for TMR skip, which is kind of really interesting strat here where we lead these two birds and get an extra cloud step and be able to get over to this flower. Nice! First try.
Very good.
That was actually a scuffed version, because that's not how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I normally see people use the rope dart. That's what I normally do there, but you made it work, so nicely done.
Yes, that is the important part. Because depending on how you come into that room will kind of alter how the birds are going to react to you. That second bird was a little too close. They still saved it. Butterfly matriarch. I call her Moth the Bat, or Batterfly?
Batterfly.
It's simple. Kill the bat moth.
Yeah. Moth the Bat. So this is a pretty fun boss because the mechanic is typically there are hidden platforms in each section that you on your first casual playthrough you don't know they're there until the moth kind of spreads out and shows you. Now, if you know where they are, you can just jump on them. They're always there. On top of that, we tried to damage the boss and continue damaging her as she flies up and stays off screen. And the second on. That is wonderful. That's the kind of fight you want to see right there.
Yeah, that was really nicely executed. The boss will fly up after it's done a certain amount of damage. After you've done a certain amount of damage to it, so as long as you're above it and you're jump slashing at the right time, which is still kind of hard to do. But yeah, really nice execution.
And in an ideal run,
died.
In an ideal run,
no, it's okay.
Yeah, in an ideal run, that would be the first.
That was on purpose.
Actual death.
We don't want to take those flowers. Flowers are gross. They're slow.
They are.
All right. Now that we're done with that, it's Underworld.
Yep.
We're going to do the Underworld Revisit in 8-bit, which is a really fast split. Come up here, pick up Pyro on our way. I've heard him referred to affectionately as Lover Boy or Lava Boy.
Yeah, he's Lover Boy.
I think I called him Hellboy once too, but I think that one's taken. There is a minor time save here. If you go for it, and you can actually like rope dart across those stalactites.
Yeah, that one's a little bit weird. You kind of have to get hit by one of those first projectiles, and then it boosts you up so that you can be able to rope dart the rest of those stalactites.
This is also a level where up until the last thing you have a tendency to hold tabby, even if it does you no good.
Yeah, you find it. Yeah, exactly. Because you'd rather just hold that tabby button forever than put your toe in the lava. Sassy green kappa, let me tell you.
That was me being dumb. I forgot to slash.
So so like you said, the revisit's really quick. You just kind of come into some familiar parts, but you take this different segment. There are a few things to note in here. One being that this room really isn't much to do to speed it up. You got 2 cycles here. You can even let it push you. Like, there's really nothing else to do. You got to wait on this cycle. There we go. Because those 2 exist together, there really is no way to speed this room up yet. Coming through here, this is a room that will eat your jumps. Those moving platforms just do it. There is a huge time save in here for a very difficult trick involving one tiling off of the saw blade, the first one in here. It is precise, it is difficult, and it saves too much time for me to be unhappy that I don't do it.
I totally feel it's like 12 seconds or some crazy amount of time.
Yeah, having to not run all the way to the wall and back.
But if you fail it...
And going for it is scary.
Yeah.
Okay, did anybody else see that rope dart just go through the jumping kappa?
This game is definitely not buggy.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, so they don't let us run on this lava. They throw all this stuff at us. They make the platforms go down. This is an unforgiving section.
Where was
something like that happens?
My cloud step, please?
Yeah. There are several unfortunate ways where your cloud step will just kind of get eaten or won't get kicked off. Sometimes it has to do with the falling platforms or a moving platform. This game be like that sometimes.
I don't remember the last time I've died down here.
It's not a fun die because it's not a fun death either. Especially if you like. Imagine this: you got that skip before, that really hype skip that hardly anyone gets, and it's really good. But you skip the checkpoint to do it, and you die in this room. That would be the worst feeling.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That would feel so bad.
Because I think you go all the way back to right before the split. Right before the split to the new area, so you have to do the whole thing again. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Just thinking about it's giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hide in my shell now.
So we picked up the Chaos Note. And so I think there's only one left. But we can't really get there yet. So the last one is in a location that's blocked by an item you have to get from Forlorn. And Forlorn is still currently locked for a no out-of-bounds run like this. We can't get in there unless we get all 4 Phobicans. And there's one left up in Cloud Ruins. So off we go. We're telling you, yes, the tricky thing is the yeses for these travels are actually the second option. So...
Yeah.
Now we get to return to Cloud Ruins, except we get to appreciate it in its 8-bit glory.
I love it in the 8-bit glory. I really do. And you're coming here with more upgrades and stuff. It's got a lot of teleports. It's got some damage boosts, some cycle skips like that one. I say cycle skips, but just like fast movement. So that you can damage through and get through another one. Yeah.
That one's a scary one because if you're... That one actually is scary because if you do it wrong, you get crushed and you die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's the worst.
Yeah, this stage is not forgiving.
But yeah, the 8-bit version of it is absolutely my favorite. Coming in here, grabbing a few extra time shards. How many are you looking for when you leave here?
550.
550. Okay,
Because that is the last one.
Grab the shuriken upgrades then.
Yep.
I missed that. Okay, good. So then, yeah, the final upgrade is 550. So he's going to easily hit that. He stopped to make sure. But once he gets to the 550, he needs no more time shards the rest of the run. Come up here and hang out with the toothbrushes. Oh, you still got it. There we go.
I keep forgetting about that for some reason. I don't know what happened there.
I really dig like this kind of dark and stormy aesthetic from the like bright 16-bit version.
Yeah, the all the thunder in the background and everything. Yeah, this aesthetic for this level is really cool.
The
color palette.
Yeah, this level gets increasingly more difficult with the stuff that it just puts in the way. That was really smooth. I like that.
Nicely done.
Some small yeet usages.
That is the first time I've got that without.
Smooth too.
I have never got that before.
That. This one right here, which is actually a really nice room with a damage reduction and full health, because you're gonna do a lot of damage boost. But be careful, because even though you can take the damage, if it happens to pretty much like hit you against the wall, it will count as a crush and automatically kill you, no matter how much health you have. So there's some things you need to be considerate of, but otherwise, it's a pretty pleasant room to do when you can do all the damage boosts. This section, identical to the last time we were here, but then changes up when you get to the room, which was my least favorite when we first came through. Is actually kind of cool coming through the second time. What's the major difference? I wish I could. There's the teleport.
Hey, nice.
I can get it in 8-bit real easy. 16-bit is always a pain.
Yes.
Also, hidden lantern?
Shout out to the hidden, yep, shout out to the hidden lantern. There's another teleport. I love them so much.
There's one coming up down here with the eyeball. Really difficult one. Nicely
Very
done.
Good. Yep. As long as you just do ideal movement, right? Just run perfectly. Then the eyeball will line up for that teleport.
The other ones are kind of easier to do just because, it's on a ghost enemy, which is, at least 2 tiles wide, but the eyeballs is 1 tiny pixel, so...
Yeah, that's true. And you more easily manipulate their movement because they run off of you, so...
Yeah, true.
So setting those up, you have some more control over those eyeballs. It's a cycle. If you miss it, you miss it. It's gone. There's a delay you can do in here to get another teleport. So overall, that saves
the air currents. But yeah, it's really weird that you would think stopping would end up being faster because you have to stop in order to teleport.
I've seen a cycle skip in this room that gives me anxiety.
Shout out to Black.
When it comes up with so many crazy strats, I'm just like, how is this possible? What? Are you sure you're not past?
Poof. Coming through, which would, I think this was originally like the final Manfred chase, but in 8-bit, it's just our little final Siren section. This room, I think, scared a lot of people off, just because of what it's asking for.
Casually, that one is scary as fuck.
Yeah, once you got the double lantern jumps there, it's fine. And then there's Acro, our final boss. And then we die. Another intentional death to get us back to the checkpoint. So we already got the Phobican. We're good to go. And then we can leave out of here the normal way. Final purchase, which is going to make the final 2 levels manageable, bearable.
And now we've completed the bridge, so we finally get to go on to... I said it was the final boss area of the game, which it kind of is, but it isn't, because it's we get to go to the Demon General's location.
This would be the Demon King's lair in Forlorn. Yeah.
My apologies. It's the Demon King. Yes, the Demon General is who we defeated in the Underworld.
Right.
There's too many demons.
I know there's so many demons. This level. Because right now all we're doing is making our way to it, so we're getting our Autumn Hill revisit to do the second half of the stage.
With the Monk S saves right there. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah, nice save.
Forlorn Temple which in 8-bit you kind of saw the first section of before we just dropped down and moved on, as the game wants us to, has one of my favorite tracks in it. I love just the way it sounds. It's a, how do I describe this? Kind of like it feels like the redheaded stepchild level in my brain, because it's insanely difficult and it's put at the end of the game pretty naturally for a reason. It's challenging. It introduces a new mechanic that you really only see there with the rockets, and it also throws just about every enemy that you could imagine. There's Wizrobes all over the place for some reason. You almost died there, and I was
it's okay, you're keeping it together. We got this.
Leaf Golem.
Huh. Wait, did I just beat that thing? What just happened?
That was weird.
I had a game chop, but I what?
Yeah, so wow. Yeah, I'm used to making a joke at that spot, but you were faster than my joke was. Love this. So now we can actually walk into Forlorn, and it's just a beast of a stage.
Also this sound effect that they're about to use in the song, I believe, is a shout out to Mega Man. That right there.
Ew. Yeah.
The Mega Man death stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah, this stage is beautiful, and its song is super good too.
So it's a difficult stage. There's gonna be a lot of tough segments, and a few really neat like cycle skips and stuff for whatever one's min decides to go for. Look at that. We love Wizrobes. Why not just throw them in here? It makes sense. Ugh.
So that's a particular. You're not really supposed to do that room that way. You stand on the one side of the time gate and you throw the shuriken there. You're supposed to like break the block and change time and do all sorts of stuff. But there's I believe 1 or 2 rooms that we've used that with.
Yeah, shurikens do not honor time for their inanimate objects. They do not care. Coming into the next segment, that's a really cool, precise kind of cycle skip there, just to squeeze right between the 2 saw blades. Coming into this room, I despise this room with
There's
almost
a
every
strat
fiber.
you could go for here, yeah, where you take damage from the Wizrobe, and you can in two damage boosts get through that room. But oh god, it's awful. I don't think I've ever done it properly.
There's a skip called Carter Crushers in here.
I forgot who did this. It was Carter?
It was Carter. Yeah, Carter Freak. Found a way to actually skip having to like wait for that cycle and just go, but it's precise from how you leave some enemies alive and then rope dart to get out, and just hit all of that at once. So it's very precise, and if you mess it up, you die.
Yeah, I believe you have to have both bats on screen in order just to skip through that. And even if you have both bats on screen, if you don't rope dart to it fast enough, yeah, you just get crushed and die.
I've actually recently seen in, I think, Ron's run, how we had mentioned in Tower of Time that kind of backwards slash that we do to get past multiple things. You can actually perform that in this room in a modified version, where it's not from a wall, but like through one of those unclimbable walls. And
that one's so hard to do.
Oh, the cycle! It's really tough, and I want to learn it because it's actually a fine thing to kind of do when you have downtime waiting for the door to open, because you can actually speed up the next door if you get it. So
yeah, you get to
really cool.
Like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, so it's neat to be able to go for that skip. Yeah, I was trying to mess with it actually before this run actually.
Yeah. Very neat.
They love wasting time so much. It's Time Waster Part 2.
Yeah. Do you like being in the same room for a while? Well, you'll love this room.
They really wanted to put some Rex or rockets in that room, I guess.
They really loved rockets, and you don't. I don't think you see it anywhere else. And
nope.
This level just has this interesting, different mechanic, but it just, you're like, I just want to go fast.
Yeah. I appreciate that you can jump off of a rocket and like you can kind of go fast when you're getting off it, so
yeah.
you're not just stuck on the thing.
That's true. Yeah, that would be even more bothersome. Coming into the next section.
A very scary room. Doing it with ease, nice.
Yep.
Only 1 damage, nicely done.
I do that damage boost on purpose.
To just go through YOLO drops and take all the damage boost to get down for the speed. So that's an alternate way to get through the room.
Speaking of saws and Monka S.
Yeah. The aptly named Monka S room. I remember this room casually. I just stared at it for a while thinking, how?
I remember too. I still feel that way occasionally when I hit once in the beginning. And I'm like, oh no, please, I need a health drop.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you find that the developers kind of expected you to do, which is accept to be slapped by the spikes, but they expect you to take that damage because they give you a bunch of health going through the room, and that's wild. All right, Demon King. This is an interesting fight. There are several mechanics in it, and based on how it goes for this.
That was not the climb I wanted, but I was able to get some.
Yeah, definitely the climb the game gave you. There's a strat where you can actually, with a certain cadence, actually continue to climb with and do damage to the boss, and you can pretty much zero cycle him.
It is very
that was really good. That's what you want to see. If you actually pull that off in the first stage, you'll never see a rocket in stage 1 or in phase 1. Phase 2 is like a 1.5 minute cutscene where you're just trying to not die. Just don't get hit by these things. There's no damage to do. Boss is already technically dead. So you wait until they give you this, and then you...
Yeah, so your only time save is hoping that you're close to a rocket.
Yeah, minor time saves like the rocket showing up and being close to its spawn point. And then just kind of waiting this part out. There's really nothing else to speed this up.
Also, don't get hit because you fall to the bottom.
And then you hit the cutscene, and you wait for the longest death sentence ever, brought to you by Thanos.
Okay, that's the first I've heard that.
And then it's a long way down after this very long death animation.
I don't feel so good. I just hurt my own heart.
What? Why would you? No.
Oh no. That crown is what we need, and that is why we came here. So it falls all the way down this massive level, or this massive room, really. Grab it. There you go. And we're off. We've got a level and a half left. Background time.
A very, very scary level. This corrupted future level is not fun casually. It's kind of funny because the speed run gets to skip literally half of the level. So
yeah, so
in that regard, that you don't have to deal with this horrible level.
I was on a run, and I did something that caused another runner named Dagum to make a comment in my chat. Is you want to know what makes a speedrunner cry? This will make a speedrunner cry.
Yes.
Because I'll explain something at the end, and yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. It's like we're gonna be here for like 2 minutes, and it's really just getting through the. I don't really call it a maze, but yeah. And there are a few spots where there's a risk of death. Death here, when you don't intend to die, is brutal. It hurts. It hurts so bad because you just got to do it again. There's no checkpoints here.
Yeah, this level is just a one shot. So yeah, this is rough to die on.
No, minus. It's the other thing that would make a speedrunner cry in this level.
Is it the intended way?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. That would potentially be worse for me.
I one-shotted it though.
Yeah, we get
Yeah, dude.
But you know what? Talking about the level, honestly, there's nothing too interesting or extreme about it except for the skip that we found. I love the song, and so that's why I don't mind like being here and basically doing this 2-minute like auto scroller with not very much time save in it. Other than that, I love the music. I like the 16-bit version the most. I think just the bass line.
You know what I found is faster? If you, well, not really faster, it's just like, because you can be on the other wall and rope dart him, but it's faster to hang on that wall and just fall off.
Interesting. Yeah, you kind of learn when you're coming through here too, like some of the routes that are dead ends, they don't do anything for you, so you can skip them. But with that, we kind of come to the last segment here, and where you would start the second half of the level, unless you do that. So what Minfin just pulled off is he was able to hit the cutscene trigger for the note. Now, as you've probably seen in some of the other areas, you actually maintain some velocity in cutscenes, and we use that to slide off the end of the map and die while collecting the note. The note is still being collected, and we're put back at the beginning as you normally would from a death. But we have it now, and you're supposed to get back to the checkpoint. That's what we're supposed to do right now. We're going to kind of skip ahead. You would normally still be there.
Stuck there, and you'd have to deal with this.
Oh, hello, big boy.
On the way back, but we're done. So see you later.
So that makes that level that much more tolerable. That and the music.
Yeah, doing that sequence is kind of scary. Unlike like the Manfred section, it actually chases you. Whereas you could beat Manfred by getting ahead of him faster. That thing will catch up to you. It is scary.
Yeah, it meets you. It kind of stays there. It's not the most forgiving thing. And dying there means you had to start over back at the beginning of the chase. It's just a time sink. Hardest cutscene skip in the game.
Thank you, developers, for making the shopkeeper hold up a button so that you know to skip a cutscene.
Now, the hard part is how frame perfect can you get to the start of that cutscene?
Right. Yeah.
And now we're on to the last level of the game. This is my. Being able to hear this song is the reason why I play this game.
This is everything is leading up to this moment. And they do not disappoint either. Not only is this level challenging, but it is so fascinating. It's an interesting level that actually is running off of the music, and the beat of the music. The physics in this level are even different. You probably won't see it in this run, but there are optimizations by messing with those physics, where if you go to the map, you can actually open the map at a certain cadence and beat to the music, and the traps won't move because the traps run to the beat.
Yeah, this whole area is super cool, just because, like you said, it's all tied to the music. So literally, like you see the crushers, and that even like down to the enemies shooting. This stage is really cool.
So cool. And some interesting manipulations that you don't see too often, but like this room in particular has a way where you can manipulate and save on the cycle for this thing right here. You have to wait for it. If you actually pause buffer it into being stuck, then you can skip that cycle. It's tough to do that and continue going through the level. Those constant like pause buffers essentially. And not only that, but some strats you do actually change based on the beat you come in on, because traps will be in certain positions, and you will be able to skip certain cycles or make certain jumps at certain times based on the beat. Fascinating stuff. How's your rhythm bird today?
No.
Coming up to a very interesting room right here where I've never done this properly. I go for this low every time.
As do I. A rhythm bird is essentially a way of coming in on just the right beat in order to get onto that second platform fast, and then use the bird to kind of skip the rest of the first section here. You do it really fast. It is scary,
really
and I hate
awful.
this room.
Because you have to take damage by the bird at the bottom of the screen, right next to the death void, and then you have to rope dart it. You have to make sure it flies far enough away from you that you're getting the proper horizontal distance, and yeah, it's a mess. Most runners don't go for it unless
Not to mention the room itself has my favorite thing, those long death pits. So fall in it, and you get to go back several rooms and try it again. Isn't that wonderful? We're about to come up to actually another common way we manipulate traps in this stage. We're going to go into the shop, come out, the music restarts, the traps are waiting for a certain cue from the music to start. They start right now. So we'll do that twice in this stage in order to actually make certain sections much faster, because the traps will be out of our way.
No!
Oh, look what you did! I'm pretty sure this is the second run in a row I've seen this glitch, which is not a great one. It's really annoying to come in on a certain beat and actually cause both steam vents to be on or off. They usually alternate.
I've never actually seen that before. I was like, huh?
And there's another use of our backward slash there to skip half of this puzzle.
Also, proof heating was intentional.
Yep, this room proving that yeets are an intended strat by the devs.
I almost did that to where I'm like right underneath that crusher. No, thank you. Off of that, please. Thank you.
Yeah, this segment just slow crusher cycles. This room is a little bit more ridiculous than I think it has the right to be.
So true. There are so many ways to die on those rotating platforms. It's actually mind-boggling.
This is another crusher cycle room that, based on the beat you come in, and you can tell you're on the right beat because of how long it takes the crushers to cycle, like turn on. You can skip a cycle.
Yeah, I caught you and Fruity off guard with that the other day.
And it's kind of hard to spot, because if you think you get it and you go for it, if you are like half a beat off or a frame off, you will get crushed because you'll think you'll get it and you'll die. It's that close, really. This is a room with perfect movement, actually allowing for this skip here, where you don't have to wait. You would have gotten on much earlier. So minor optimization in that room that is really hype when you get.
I got it for the first time the other day.
So we're coming through this long room. The next room is going to have like a spot where shurikens will save you a lot of time, and it kind of shows why the final upgrade is so nice for us. Because we're going to throw, hopefully, enough. But a really nice thing is he's going to have to go all the way over and hit it because the shurikens didn't make their mark. But there's going to be another segment coming up soon that's going to be sped up quite quickly with shurikens, and it's in the same room as a checkpoint. That upgrade will allow him to speed that room up slightly by getting the checkpoint and then dropping down a shuriken. Just like that. And having that upgrade gives us that kind of buffer, right? Whereas if he didn't have it, he would have to drop down and hit them both, and it's nice. It's nice to have that choice.
It's also nice because that particular upgrade puts us at 5 health when we touch the checkpoint. It's supposed to 3, so
Also, yes.
Giving us a little bit of leeway with these crazy steam pipes that are all throughout the stage.
It's really funny with this particular trap room that it's actually incredibly easy to break it. We didn't do a backward slash, we just normal slashed. Second music reset, just to get through that first section as quickly as possible. And now everything else is running on their cycle, their global cycle. That's a good beat. Very good. There we go. A lot of precise wall kicks here to get up and kind of cut around this corner here. Perfect. We're kind of coming to. No, God!
That got me too.
Pictures are mean. Coming up to near the end here. There are so many neat things you can do in this stage that aren't really worth mentioning in the speedrun. I just think about it because a lot of the physics stuff you can mess with. But they have no use in a run, so you'll never see them. But things like you can actually walk on thin air using those pause buffers while walking off of like a horizontal pressure. Random stuff like that I was trying to see if they could be used in another area, but this level is the only thing that seems to do it, as far as I know. I think I've seen something similar to it in Tower of Time, actually. Yeah.
Coming up to the final boss of the game is pretty much RNG. What patterns he's going to do.
This is actually a fairly scripted fight. If you do this, it's the same thing. Similar to like Blind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, similar to like Blind and Link to the Past. He will always start with that volley, and if you make it to the wall and hit it, it's going to hit him, and then after that, he's going to do the same thing every time.
Okay.
So he's going to do the volley again.
I can...
Yeah, I goofed up the first cycle because I didn't do enough hits to begin with.
Yeah, so after this, his moves will be based a lot on what damage number he's at the moment. But the goal is
like
to...
that makes sense. Okay,
yeah, so the goal here is get both those volleys and just keep dishing damage on these segments so that you can just take them down as quick as possible. There are a few things that you kind of get by accident that save you time, like the teleport when he does.
I tried to do the levies.
Trying to do the levy trap.
The levy strat there is so crazy. Oh my goodness.
So he'll probably die. The boss will probably die here, but here's another amazing use of the rope dart.
Iframes.
You can just sit here. As long as you keep the cadence up, I mean, you'll never go off
ready so that you could rotate around and never have to get hit by it.
And there it is, right before he teleported.
Oh, I was gonna say I killed him in a teleport.
Yeah, very cool. And so with the boss down, there's really only one left thing. There's only one thing left to do.
And that is the thing.
Yeah, the thing. To do the thing, we must. Let's do the thing. So everyone's going to go up. We're going to see the mask try to attack, and then we're going to do the thing. And
also,
the time will stop when the mask shatters.
I guess we never needed to decurse the Queen of Quills, because look, there she is.
Yeah, she's totally fine. She didn't need our help. She got decursed all on her own.
Yeah, it was just all a costume. It was just for fun.
Mm-hmm. It was just, she was just testing us. All right. Final little mashing section. Save a little bit of time based on your mashes.
Where we ask chat for our A's.
Yep. We know. And then here's 2. And that's time.
That's time.
Did you happen to time this one?
I did.
What'd you get?
2 hours flat.
2 hours flat. There you go.
Yes. I was plus a minute 59.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, 2 hours is it's pretty much like your goal for a run like this.
Yeah.
2 hours, a couple of deaths. That's typically what you see. And some of the top tier runners are bringing it down into the mid 140s.
Yeah. And this is why I have an estimate on the run of 2 hours 10 minutes, because in case things do go wrong, there is a little bit of leeway. But otherwise, it'll be a pretty good run, and we'll go from there. So thank you both very much for coming in and doing the commentary for this. And then I'm going to do a little bit of chopping and editing. And